his name of his Astra crew there. Just Astra. Really,
You.
really
Hey, hey,
creative.
hey! I know I failed earlier. We're trying to keep it nice and clean here. Okay. Nice.
Apologies.
Yeah. What the heck? On my tournament, Khrushchev. I'm kidding. So, I can't remember if you've gotten to play against either of these players today.
No. So I played against Yurga, who knocked me out pretty damn quickly. But yeah,
Darn
neither of
quickly.
the.
Sheesh.
Sorry, my apologies. Done quickly.
Yeah, come on. We're putting this on YouTube. Children could watch.
Hopefully not. I don't want them to be exposed to me getting beaten so quick, so young. Okay, so we got our first decision of the game here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the ship assist, and this goes to I think the question Mike Jones posted earlier. Do we like how both players get different assist options? I think so. I think again, if best of ones, it gets kind of weird because like, oh, I got these cruddy assists or something. But over the course of multiple games, you have those chances to get better assists, basically.
Yeah, I quite enjoy the randomness. It keeps it a bit more lively, but I have a feeling that there's going to be quite a big sort of shout back for people to have essentially the same assists available just for competitive reasons. But I hope they keep it
I keep it the
that
way
way.
I think you keep it the way it is because again, if this was a best of one game, I'm like, okay, we got to get the same options to everyone. But it's not. It's we're ranking best of 3 or best of 5, and over the course of games, ship assist selection, how you use your ship assist is going to matter more than did I get orbital strike corrosive particles in that one game.
Yeah, definitely.
And that said, getting into this game here, let's see, although with the way you fit both games into a game, oh no. But looking here, both odd decision. I would not expect Ness opting into Extilier first.
I mean, maybe he's trying to. I think what he's trying to do is. So I had a peek at his list. I think his curve is aimed at sort of quickly, essentially trying to race Astra to kill her before she just overwhelms the board. And I think that's what he's trying to achieve with Exilia there, and with all the early damage coming on. Oof. Well, Maximus being surrounded there.
A slap is
oh yeah, Maximus going to be down imminently. Now I will say, watching Ness has been in the situation where they've been on stream a bit. This is like the 3rd time on stream today, just for good play or random matches that we decided to watch, or good play like getting far. And we've seen Ness play a lot more defensively in these games. We noticed that they like to use AoE and just kind of play back off. They tend to play a little bit more defensively, so it's interesting to see them on the pedal to the metal so hard here.
Definitely a fan of it. I'm wondering if that maybe the fact that he's had so much exposure on the stream, they're like, oh no, he knows everyone knows all my secrets now, so maybe he's trying to play the exact opposite, keep everyone guessing.
Yeah, which honestly, that's good. And I mean, even if it's like on the stream, like it could be the hand you have. I know the last time we saw an Extilier from them, they had a very expensive starting hand, so they had to play back.
Yeah, and I think with Exilia, you essentially have 2 options. One, I've seen a lot of people play sort of like a turtle Exilia, where everything is that the whole hand or the whole deck is built just to buff Exilia to make it impossible to deal that damage and get them close, depending on whether you're what assist you get. Oh,
yeah.
Goodbye, Maximus.
Yeah, I mean, 1 out of every 10 shots will crit. It just happened to happen that time.
I think Maximus is probably the most popular unit I've seen so far in the tournament. I think he's so cost effective for the amount of damage he can pound out, and whilst not the case here, he can definitely get out of danger.
Yeah, and now Maximus is an interesting one because I actually think he's fine where he is, it's okay to have units that are kind of almost must-haves, but maybe a 1 less health probably doesn't hurt. Either, oh, here it is. It's turn 4. You gotta know it's coming or just expect it. It don't feel good, but it is the way it do the way it do.
Absolutely brutal orbital strike
you
there.
know what? This could be why Ness opted to go so hard. Knew they had the orbital strike and just charge in. That said, there is a Tipu coming. It is coming.
That's my worry. He's gonna be Exilia's gonna be running straight into that Tipu trap.
Yeah.
And I think he's just now prepping it just so Exilia can't escape.
Yeah, Astra can't escape now. He has an interesting decision here. Because he's going to now take... Tifu's going to get 4 damage and gonna hurt because of it.
No glove, no love.
Do not distract me.
It's one of those things where I think... I see a lot of players, I know I like to do this, trade health for better board state. I know I'm gonna eat a Tipu and probably a Broken Vengeance, and it's gonna feel very bad. But the state I get afterwards is so much better, you know?
Definitely.
Astra caught in a corner, you're happy.
I think Exilia. I think he still needs to be a bit mindful of the fact that if he pulls a war drummer or anything like that Tipu can get really, really scary very, very quickly, and suddenly being backed into the corner may actually turn out to be sort of a defensive line.
Yeah. I mean, let's also not forget, Tipu already is a problem. The moment, if Tipu's ever staring at you and is hit 4-8 without being tagged, Tipu's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Just end of story. That said, this is not bad. Tipu's going to take 2 damage from whatever they attack, and you're just... Yeah. I like this. I think this is very smart if they don't attack, because Tipu's good. That means they're going to do 11 damage. If they attack Tipu here, they're going to take 11 damage over 2 turns on their captain. But here, with the jailbreak, you just get to stay.
Yep. Just going to ignore Tipu and go round.
Yep. This literally comes down to, does Facestab have the units in their hand that they need? This may be the most successful X into Astra rush we've seen yet. We saw, like, on stream today, I mean.
Yeah, this seems pretty quick paced. I think he's managed to successfully rush Astria before she could really get momentum there. So I think he's done really, really well. Oh, that's a really brutal drop, though. That's going to slow down the gameplay.
Torian's in that list of, like, 5 characters. Like, you drop them, and there is immediately an impact. But that said,
it's brutal.
Astra has 6 health. You have Torian to deal with, but you got Orbital Strike. You got plenty of AoE options. Tipu dies with a Sword of Justice on this turn. The scariest thing on the board's gone. You just wait for that Orbital Strike. Keep the Jailbreak there. Shield of Hope's up. Take pot shots with the Jailbreak. This should still be in Ness's control, yeah?
Definitely. I don't... this is the first time I've seen one of those bad boys out. Maybe he can try outrun I can't remember the name. What's the thing with that resets movement speed? Or resets your movement?
Finally, I've been wanting one
all day.
That's it?
I'd love to see a Quetzali in use. A nice Quetzali play.
To be honest, that's it then. Shield of Hope, you have Orbital Strike coming, drop the Quetzali, get in their face, spin to win for a couple turns. Right? I mean... Granted, that's an escape hatch and an Astra, I just realized with the Cinder Infusion. It's not so cut and dry, but the Quetzali's gonna help them sprint to the finish here, especially if Jailbreak's able to live this turn.
I'm pretty sure how do you pronounce it?
Extilior.
Extilior is about to transform into a Beyblade real quick. If he drops that.
Ooh, and he's able to sneak past that corner. Astra's going to have to cut that off. They don't know about the Quetzali. Oh, I've been wanting to see an Extilior use the Quetzali all day. You have no idea how happy I am. I've waited for this moment. We definitely should be seeing an escape hatch coming out of the Astra, though, into the breach. Oh, Astra just doesn't have anyone on the bridge.
I've gotcha.
Okay, Cinder Infusion. They're not going to get into the breach, but they are going to get a reinforce and probably into an escape hatch. A good escape hatch placement could save the day here. Oh, 3 Cinder. What'd they get? I didn't see. With that range, it looks like it's a defense dome. Oh, wait.
That's the Quetzalcoatl.
Oh, it is his turn. I forgot about that. I maybe lost track of turns. Yup. An Orbital Strike comes online after this turn.
Welcome.
Yes! This is it. This is why what Extilior needs for these rush decks to work. Quetzalcoatl, a crankbait, any way to just get in there, hit him hard, hit him fast. With 260% going their way, this could be the game. Even then, Orbital Strike coming up. Unless Facestab has some healing in their list, this should be it. Is it Crushax? Crushax?
Crushax.
Yeah. Great name. There have been some stellar tags today, by the way.
Always much to consider.
I have a funny story about how that name came about. Actually, it was when I was 13. I was trying to play World of Warcraft, and I wanted my guy to be called Crusher, but it was already taken, so spelt it Crushax. And then it kind of stuck, and I was like, that's cool.
Nice.
I'll go with that one.
Oh, why did he?
Oh, okay, that's an interesting move.
You want him to use attacks on it now? Well, I guess they think this is the cover in case something gets crazy, not to give a free reinforce or something.
I mean, yeah, potentially, but maybe it's just my sort of relentless mind thought. I probably would have taken the risk to lock him down more.
Yeah, but they have the Orbital Strike. They know 3 damage. If we look at Facestab's list, their Astra list may or may not have the healing to be able to just drop. Could be a calculated move. Yeah, there's no healing on this Astra list. They just know drop there's just a defense dome. Just drop the Orbital Strike, win the game. Or you could Quetzalcoatl in and spin to win. Like, there are so many options here.
I think Ness just wanted to see something bunny hop over a mountain and run across the map. Or run across the screen in one go. Mm-hmm. Oof.
Either way, exceptional Extilior Rush play. Yeah, I heard that Godspeed. Oh, the crankbait coming out last was so crucial there. Yep. Good game 1.
Beautiful play.
I don't think there are some things maybe Astra could have done. Facestab could have done a bit better. Maybe, but I don't know what their hand was. You know. And they got locked down. They got put into that corner. I mean, at the end of the day, that was just pitch perfect Extilior Rush.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of any of the different plays there for Extilior. He played it really well. Unfortunately, Facestab just let himself get put in a corner. I think the only way he would need to sort of travel around the map and sort of use the sort of center as a fulcrum and maintain distance whilst building a board really there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Alrighty, so let's see what we bring to bear game 2. We have an Astra. Are we doing Astra v Astra? Yo, Ness said Astras for wusses.
I'm big fan.
Got something.
Has Ness played Astra at all today? I know they went 2-1 against Yurga. I wonder if they went Astra in either of those games.
I can't remember seeing him play any Astra, but I also think, even though Astra is quite obviously the people's choice right now, sometimes I think people are sort of using it as a crutch to lean on, to just throw as many units out, whereas it seems like Ness has got some nice themes to his army. We saw that in that game where it was just cover as much distance as possible and lock down the enemy.
I'll say this: the theme of the Zax army is AOE. It's gonna be a Titonia and a Florio out on the board, and it's gonna It's gonna feel bad. It's gonna feel real bad. But I wonder, it's gonna depend. Is he gonna want to play back, or is he gonna rush him down again?
Looks like he's running straight for it. Made the decision not to throw out anything early to save up that Ember.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I see Zax play, I always feel bad if Maximus
swap over to
isn't
Facestab
in the
stream
hand.
this game. We're gonna watch it from Astra's perspective on stream this time. Ooh, this Astra has stowaway. That's gonna accelerate things so quickly. But you gotta be careful with your stowaway because you wanna make sure you're not giving yourself a thing that's gonna be boosted when you want something else to be boosted for the Cinder stuff.
Definitely. So it looks like with Maximus out on the play, it's kind of put a time limit on Zax's gameplay, because he's essentially got 10 turns where Maximus can pretty reliantly deal 2 damage to him.
Still got it. And a tad on my mind. My trigger finger wants to dance.
Want me? I'm right over here.
Ooh, interesting I mean, I guess just wanted to pick him away. See the Deadeye here.
Gotta want it.
Trying to get some chip damage onto this Pyro. Would you have rather see that on the Zax, or do you think trying to chip out the crew is the answer?
I think with the AoE list that's in play, I suppose it is right to chip out the crew, but at that point, the percentages are so low on the Pyro, I probably would have let it run for a turn. I don't think Pyro can get in range to hit anyone for at least another turn. So I probably would have been targeting Zax.
We're just being very Astra right now.
Okay.
You have been Astra'd.
Zax has some great escape. He can use his disruption beam and gravity bomb to escape. But the problem is every time he's using that gravity bomb to run around, thinking that you're doing the best move, there goes all your Ember to actually reinforce your army.
Yep, you have to eat the Cinder deficit. Oh man.
So it looks like Ness is trying to struggle as to decide whether to go on the offensive or just get his captain out of there. Trying to line up a nice Pyro flamethrower shot.
Sorry, just kind of moving things along here. Letting Flash Midnight, who's waiting in losers finals for the winner of this, begin the conversation if they want to do BO3 or BO5. Just because I know it is late for Europe for a lot of our European players. That's gonna be a pretty gnarly flamer, but they didn't have the Cinder. Oh, they did. Okay. That's a pretty good flamer. But
nice.
They had to use the gravity for it, and whew, the shrapnel.
Oh.
That would have been a really great shrapnel if it was on Ness's team.
Yeah, unfortunately, I really love that great flamethrower shot, but Zax is in a very unfortunate position where he's about to take a huge chunk of damage, and he's just completely surrounded still.
People never learn.
He's about to be isolated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean this.
What?
Yep. If I did, you take just move the Astra out of the way and get the free reinforce. Yeah, there we go. So it is currently looking like we may get 2 short games in quick order here. But funnily enough, the first one did not involve the Astra winning. Which is what makes the series so interesting, because that's the advantage in the current state of the game. If you win against the Astra at least once, you in theory get the Astra game, right? In game 3.
Yeah.
Watch me work.
I think it'd be an interesting strategy to work out whether you play the sort of mental game, get the Astra out at the beginning and try sort of dominate in the first round to try to tilt your enemy. Or whether you save it as sort of that safety net to sort of almost where you're most confident.
Yeah, and then there's also the other... it's going to be interesting, and we won't necessarily... He's been Astralated. I will say, I do think next week's tournament will also be interesting, because just kind of looking ahead for the next one I run, it will be single list. There will be no switching of lists, but Astra is banned, because if we didn't ban Astra, it would just be Astra v Astra an entire day, and that's we saw that in playtest.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of...
I think that's going to be a very quick-paced, action-packed series of games with Zax versus Exilor.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because I know that the thing is, everyone might just go Zax, because Zax versus Extilior is rough.
Can't rush it.
Because the Zax will just keep you out.
What hit them?
But then again,
Yeah.
you might get that Quetzali.
Might stimulate some more interesting strategies with a lot more movement disruption, which could be great. Or people might just turtle up and start dropping shields and armored units to maintain that flurry while slowly sort of dominating board coverage. So you never know. I'm a big fan of Zax. I think he can be a really strong strategic asset.
Yeah. To answer your question, Corolar, right now I'm thinking next weekend for the next tournament, because the weekend after that I'm not able to run one, and I want to run a single list one and a multi-list one. As for might be too early to ban Astra, nerfs and adjustments are coming. This would be before those adjustments come. I personally think Astra is like one tweak or two away from being okay.
Got a lead.
That's my thought, and I do like some of the stuff that the devs have shown in the Discord personally. But it's one of those things to prevent a single list bracket just being a bunch of Astras, which is what we saw in playtest. We're gonna probably, if we do,
Probably.
as I said, I said do. That's what I said. A single list one, we're probably gonna have to ban the Astra for that reason. And I know Charlie Cleveland, I think his name is Mr. Cleveland, Flayra. They mentioned that he mentioned in his dev stream before the day before the game came out, that we will it's a, like, he wouldn't mind, he thinks it's appropriate to ban Astra because it would dominate that meta. That said, we've seen there are answers to Astra, but there are some things that have to go right in that for you. It always feels like it's an uphill battle going up against Astra as anything that isn't Astra. Words are hard. I've been casting for 6.5 hours. Sorry if I'm a little mushy. Welcome Day XP. Yeah, this is losers semifinals. Came in right at some of the spicier games we're gonna have today.
Ness at the moment is in deep danger. He's just dropped a stimulant crowd. He's in deep danger of putting himself in a corner, which is incidentally how he won last game.
Yeah, but it's like he needs to find a way out of the situation. They need to find the way out of the situation regardless.
Pushy.
Nice, beautiful move there, using Gravity Bomb to line up a nice bomb.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Make the spaghetti fall out of my pockets. Oh no, that needs to stay in there. You're a lobster with a lemon. You need to be tastier. More spaghetti into lobster. That sounds horrible, but like, just stuff a lobster shell with spaghetti.
Like a wild out of context soundbite there.
Thank you, Godspeed. But yeah, no, it's been fine. Funnily enough, this is still not the worst stint of casting I've ever done. Do not worry. in some amateur leagues of Legends tournaments I've done, like kind of plat, gold, diamond leagues, I've had to cast 2 best of 5s back to back solo. This will never. I will find it hard if anything ever matches that.
One win.
But yeah, we see, just continuing the march across the board. We've been there. The Astra walking out,
Tissue.
You almost don't care if it's the mine.
May cause confusion.
Yeah. What I would like to see from Facestab is actually moving the Broken Vengeance around the other side so that Ness has some sort of target collection, because Zax is pretty good at sort of disorientating. I think it's just about over here, but Zax is pretty good at disrupting anybody that's chasing him by just throwing out bombs and moving around. So it'd be nice to sort of come at him at more angles.
Yeah. That said, I do think, and thinking again about Zax Extilior, which is the matchup we're going to have next round, most likely if Ness wants to hold on to not using the Astra. I'm actually really curious. Does Ness, this would be really interesting if Ness does win the next game. They might not have played Astra. They would have made losers finals without a game of Astra, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to ask him that later if he's played any Astra today.
Nothing to see here.
Ness. Did he submit a list for Astra?
Yes. Everyone had to have a list for everything because they could make it the best of 5 territory. Which we've kind of abandoned a little bit for sake of time. Oh, the tongue!
Oh.
I mean, it's going to be a boosted Torian coming in hot. But there was a moment. A dream.
Both ends are pointy.
Yeah, this is looking a bit grim, and it's lights out.
Yep, I'm going to send him a reminder.
Oh, some lovely play there from Facestab. Just overwhelming. That's kind of what Astra does, is just builds a huge board and just overwhelms the opponent with bodies.
Yep. And again, it's like we saw how so many things went right for the Extilior. The kind of pinning in Facestab in game 1, the excellent use of those resources they had, knowing they had that Quetzali that they were just kind of banking on, and then pulling the kill button, pressing the kill button when that Quetzali was in position. And then they also had Orbital Strike. Like, so many things had to go, and a Vortex. Like, those are so many of the things you need to have if you are the Extilior going into the Astra. So, let's see here. Game 3. What do Ness and Facestab choose? We have Zax on one side. There it is. Ness pulling out the Astra, and that's what we talked about. The advantage of winning the game 1 against the Astra.
You have to pull it out when you just need it and when you need it the most.
Yep. And it is interesting. The stats show this from the last playtest. I don't know if you remember Flavra, the Project Lead, Charlie Cleveland, had mentioned on a dev stream that at Extilior across all levels of play actually edge out Astra.
Really? That's interesting.
But again, that's all levels of play. However, I would like to extrapolate that from that in my own personal game experience. I think Extilior is the better of the other 2 captains to play into Astra for the same reasons we saw earlier. They just kind of walk it up and you could just really burst damage and force him in a corner if you're able to get in close and get the mobility options.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. If you get some nice assists that help you sort of mobilize across the board, you can really deal with anything that Astra pulls up against you, because you have such great captain abilities to just clear waves. But you've just got to make sure. I think with Exilio, you've got to have a really good cinder balance in your list, having sort of things to throw out at every tier, and not just having, like the current hand, just things that are too expensive.
Yep, we look at Ness here. But here's the other thing. Oh, they get the turn 3 switchback. Now, do they choose to do it, or do they wait until next turn Because if you drop the switchback now, you're committing 2 Cinder on your next turn to making switchback useful. But then again,
Yeah,
3 damage on turn 3 is still pretty good, actually. Wait, 3 damage just kills the Maximus. Never mind.
I think I would have held on to Switchback there so that you could sort of drop it, use Astra's ability to undo stuns and sort of almost have it as a surprise damage. But now Switchback's on the table. Zax knows exactly what he needs to kill or ignore or disrupt.
Yep.
I think that's played the cards too early.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Because now you have that Switchback in the back pocket. Oh, that is a dead Switchback already. Like you said, playing your cards too early, showing your hand. Unless we see... Oh, it was a 93% miss!
You love to see it.
Gotcha.
And the 53% hit, but not the 93. That's so unfortunate.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. But there are, that Switchback is pretty low.
Shiny.
Yeah, what he has guaranteed is that
surprised they
Switchback is
didn't
only going to have one round of shooting.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't move the Maximus.
They'll hate this.
There's the light.
Maybe it was shock and awe.
Your face will get stuck.
Well, I think Switchback is about to move Maximus for him.
Yep. Yeah, just kidding. Oh, man. Just come in and zoink. I wonder why they're going to... I guess they don't want the Switchback to get murked by the mine and... Yeah, I guess this is interesting. You want to take the guaranteed shot, but you don't want to be able to be murked by the mine that's Zax put out.
I think that's a testament actually to Facestab's sort of positioning. Although it looks like everything's out in the open, it's actually quite difficult to get a shot there. Looks like Ness was looking to try sort of have a go at Zax, but unfortunately the mine covers one entrance, forcing his hand to do one.
Corlar brings up a good point. They want to try and maybe kill the amplifier. Because if they could have gotten a kill on the amplifier, that would actually have been huge.
Yeah, you can dish out some real damage with that amplifier.
Indeed, it is very... much how Quetzali is almost essential for crankbait for Extilier, feels like amplifier Beetle is super key for a lot of Zax lists. Oh, the terrain!
Oh, the terrain mismatch.
Oh no.
Switchback might live for one more turn. This is not going well.
Oh, they're trying so hard. I believe. I believe. Come on, Facestab.
Interesting thing we also saw from Ness was that he pocketed the Peacemaker, not dropping it down early. Ready to what I assume is to drop it down on one turn and sort of effectively perma-stun a couple of units.
Oh man. So what does Facestab drop here? Probably something nice and chunky to block the way.
Stronger together.
I'm so happy. I think, and the stasis field. This is a good recovery from Facestab. Use the stasis field. Switchback dies next turn. It's just dead next turn. You've boxed in the Astra a little bit, and you now have a Beatrice there with the Beetle. So Beatrice is not only going to cover these angles, but the Beetle is going to make it hurt a lot in a line if you don't catch your positioning. Orbital Strike feels bad, though.
Oh, yeah, it does. It's unfortunate, where I think Facestab, despite his very unfortunate luck early on, missing a 93, and then terrain just not agreeing with him, I think his positioning was completely right to sort of lock off the Astra and protect his captain. Unfortunately, it sort of lines it up for a perfect orbital strike, but I think he's done really well there.
Doesn't sleep.
And there's the Peacemaker.
Hear me out. If I'm Facestab, I'm okay with this. It's going to be very annoying to deal with. Amplifier Beetle is done. Like, unless you're not going to heal them, it's just done. The end. But I'm okay with this because that's Cinder being used on things that are pretty much already dead or meant to block things. You know, imagine if Ness had held the Peacemaker in their back pocket a little bit longer and maybe dropped the shrapnel, you know?
Yeah. I think what's happened now is essentially he's just created a permanent wall for himself, so he's reduced even like any of his exit routes even more, so he's even more boxed in.
That said, Amplifier be told, like you said, gone. Not non-factor for this next turn. But Beatrice is fine. You're okay with Beatrice just covering that angle. What Facestab, not Faceback, needs to do is make sure. Okay, they don't have the Cinder to summon something. Because I say, make sure you summon it away from where that Peacemaker is going to be able to impact.
And exhale.
There's the stun.
Feel more motivated?
Do you feel more motivated, Crush Axe?
It's the only thing that's keeping me up, honestly.
Is your morale boosted?
That stuff was getting
100%. I could go again. This is
Wow, the power
power of Astra.
of Astra. I hear that, and I'm like, yes, it's what I need. Oh man, this is an interesting. So you're right, Astra's now the situation switched. They've actually rotated their positions pretty much perfectly. Facestab with a lot of Cinder, but only one person they could drop. Again, I think the story of the series is could be that miss, but we also we also have to make sure we take into account the fact that Ness won their matchup against the Astra, which also put them into the spot here.
Yeah, I think the miss was very unfortunate, and then the subsequent mine. But it's just one of one sort of event that they're both playing really sort of very close to home, and they're both being very, very aggressive. Unfortunately, that has had the side effect where they're both at risk of being swamped by each other. That shotgun blast just not having a really good angle.
But the Tipu's not in range, and now you've put Peacemaker Balam in a situation where they're almost certainly going to stun the Tipu.
Good job, Barry.
Look, leaderly.
Oh no. The safeguard as well. That's so annoying. Quick note, Balam does not stun captains, only stuns crew.
I think he was mainly trying to stun that Tapu, but thought he'd give it a go.
So this should be a dead Balam next turn. You can corrosive particles, you can shoot it with, it's going to get hit by the mine, it can be hit by Beatrice. But what is that worth the time? Because there's that on the board now, and that is such a strong unit. We haven't seen Savria too much today, actually. At least on stream. How many of the lists actually have Savria? Do you know?
No, but I can certainly have a look.
7 people have put Savria into their lists. Or 7 lists have it. Lillicet put it in all 3 of their lists, it looks like. Or 2 of them, but... No, all 3 it looks like, but... Not too many others. That's about 4 or 5 folks put it in their lists today. That causes a bunch of interesting problems. 2 damage with such a strong ability. The ability to kind of just, you're now invulnerable. You don't take damage.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen it much get out in play. I guess I think people are sort of choosing whether they want Savria or I forget or Taurian Guardian. because they sort of fulfill the same role, if not a little bit differently. You know, do you want something to be immune to damage or the next immune to damage for one shot, or do you want it to have 40% like a 40% miss chance by default?
So Beatrice
but it does.
Yeah, okay, sorry. What were you gonna say? I didn't.
The one benefit of using using it over a Taurian Guardian is that essentially is sort of immune to being disrupted away. I've seen a lot of players manage to disrupt Guardian away from its sort of desired target so that they don't get the buff. Whereas you don't really have to worry about that too much because it's just a click ability.
Mm-hmm. So this is a very, that was a really great turn to kind of get them out of this tough spot. We've seen them play around this death zone here for so long, flipping in and out of it. The two players swapping their crew around. But now with Peacemaker Balam down, that Tipu's going to get to come out to play. Good body blocking with the Zax to prevent the Savrier from being able to finish off the Tipu here as well.
Worth the risk.
Eager to please.
Oh, that's going to be so huge.
Oh.
1 out of 10 times they crit these. Okay.
Huge damage from one turn, 8 damage from that one shotgun blast, but not a lot has actually changed on the board.
Yeah.
No pause button, huh?
Oh, I don't know if you're ready for this drop here.
Slice and dice.
Watch it. Pointy staff.
Oh, are they holding on to it? Interesting.
I think so. I think Astra's going to find a nice little hole to hop into to play safe.
Yeah. Interesting. And those of us on stream, we can see the Astra does have a Nectarvine and a Blindsider to be able to kind of continue this fight here. And Facestab starting to get behind a bit in the crew department. He needs to take out some of these folks, but the Safeguard's at full health. And Shrapnel's so hard to move with that armor. It's like we said, it doesn't take 7 damage to kill her. It takes 11 to 14, and that's if you're doing more than 2 damage a pop.
Yeah, I think you really got to commit to killing Shrapnel with the right stuff. You can't just sort of fire pot shots off her at her and break her down.
You have to all right, it's going down now. We do have a stasis field available for Facestab on this turn. We'll see what they choose to use it on. Okay, Tipu's gonna eat good.
Gotta keep moving.
That crit is so huge.
Oh,
that crit
that's
is
bye-bye
actually
Shrapnel.
insane.
Under pressure.
So
We'll see you.
that's a good use of that. Pull away, and now both players kind of settling into their defensive zones. And here's the thing. If this is the same list Ness, this should be the same list Ness used earlier, unless it was Autumn Wind I was thinking of. I could have gotten them mixed up. I got them mixed up a lot in their games. But if Ness is using the list I think they are, I think this works in their favor.
Does the list have a name?
The power.
The list does not have a name, whoever it was that asked that. But if so,
Voice from Beyond.
Voice from Beyond, Crush Axe. The list from Ness has a Florio. So backing off into their separate silos is really good for Ness right now. There's a Florio in that deck, and I would be surprised if they not Ness. I'm sorry, Face. Oh, I was thinking Ness is Zach's deck. Ah, my brain. Okay, what does Facestab's as Zach's deck have? If it has a Florio, this is pretty insane for them, you know? They do have a Florio. The point stands. Facestab is okay going into this quarter because they're going to drop a Florio and just chuck shots across the board, right?
Florio is such a strong unit pick. I could completely imagine Ness jumping into that behind that wall and just laying siege whilst Facestab has to run up the board after him.
every 3 turns. They do get corrosive every 3 turns with this Florio. How is Savria still safe? How did she get the safeguard off? Did I miss something?
I think I missed something.
There's no way they could have into the breach. Are they immune to CC when safeguarded?
I mean, whoa.
What's the exact wording on it?
I don't know. I was answering something from Twitch. I thought the safe.
What's the hurry?
Reduces next damage to 0. But that shouldn't make it immune to.
Let's look here. There is a wiki now that some people put together. Moonbreaker wiki.
I've gotcha.
Okay, here we go.
Tono was a
Yeah, that's reduced. So why is she still have? Oh, it's the next damage. She just never got damaged.
Never got hit.
Yep.
Ness managing to heal up all of his units whilst Facestab is looking pretty rough.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So they committed to kill the shrapnel, stunned the Savria, and then all these units got dropped by fate. Oh my gosh.
Safety's no accident.
Yep.
In the bubble.
Need emotional support.
Oh, that's huge. 7 damage crit there.
Onward, Berg. Give me another minute.
I hate that the audio goes away the moment I click out to deal with something else. Come on.
It's okay. Next time it happens, I'll just do the battle music myself. I can barely tell the difference, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
See, that's interesting. So Zach's took a shot there whilst it's safeguarded. It did 0, which is expected because of the ability, but the shield is still there.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was so good.
Okay,
Pop
there we
those
go.
Shields. But
Nice.
they're so. I mean, Facestab's fishing to get this Florio. Needs to keep things safe in this corner. Orbital Strike isn't up for another 2 turns. Oh, but they got the Shrapnel. Shrapnel with the Corrosive could do some work.
Who you need gone?
This smacks. The best defense is a good defense.
Oh, man. Oh, it's Zach's miss. Okay. Sorry. Life stuff. Okay.
Such grace.
Is there a way? Like, we do know the Florio is an option, but this is still such a rough position for Facestab. That Fate Twister.
A perfect day for righteous battle.
This Beatrice could be huge. There's enough Cinder to do a lot here. But
Beatrice is in a phenomenal position to do a lot of damage, but even if he clears the board, Astra's still at full health, no damage to her with a healing plant on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And they're swiftly running out of reinforcements.
Both of them are, at least. Oh my gosh.
Chaos is order.
This is so close.
Facestab really has to pull something out of the bag this turn, or unfortunately, I think that's lights out.
Yeah. And I mean, okay. They have a lot of AoE.
Right?
They do have a lot of AoE here. They could easily kill all of them here. Do you think we could get the double shot? Does Beatrice hit all three?
I think Beatrice... No.
But I designed the safety signage.
That was some beautiful positioning, though. Last-ditch effort positioning.
Yeah, if there is an orbital strike coming in a turn that just deletes them, though, this is probably... maybe all for naught. Interesting choice, because blind... Oh, drop something. Okay, I was like, why are you not killing the thing that'll kill you? Can Blindsider fit between shrapnel and that landscaping?
Stay close to me.
I don't think so. I think that's quite a smart play, because as well, moving Zax up forward sort of reduces, or will reduce the chance of that. Oh.
Beatrice is a straight line. Yeah, I was hoping it might. It was like, you could tell they were trying to angle the Beatrice shot between to hit both of them.
Right hand man.
Oh man.
Order is
Facestab
Really
does
nice
have...
micromanagement thought, though.
Yeah. I mean, do they survive the orbital strike? I don't think so. Is there healing in their list?
No.
You've looked in Facestab's at...
There's nothing in his hand.
Oh, there's no healing. This is why I think you need to have a healer in most lists. But then again, it takes a spot of other stuff you need, you know?
Yeah.
This roster construction is so important in this game. Oh, that's it. Yep, into the breach.
Too many
Yep.
choices.
Into the breach.
Yep.
Run over.
Is done.
I mean, we've seen crazier shots miss.
Fine.
Oh,
We
I
literally
hit
saw it at the
43.
beginning of the game.
Yep.
Hit the
But
43.
either way, excellent series from both of them. Both played game 1 and game 2 very well to get to their W. And we see Ness take it on game 3 with the Astra. And valiant effort, honestly, coming out of Facestab. Really, really good defense and a lot of fun positioning stuff in that game. Both players played incredibly well. So, good on them.
Really
Facestab does, sadly, leave the bracket in 4th place, but had a great run. And now we see Ness versus Flash Midnight. Whoops. There's someone named Ness in this chat, in this Discord, so I'm like... Alrighty, so let's... Yeah, both of them played very well. Switch over to the bracket here. Ah, so many tabs. And then there were 3